Good evening, Greencastle, and welcome back to another episode of Tiger Sports Nation. I'm Jude Hunter.
And I'm Joey Webster. Last week, the Tigers were met with some stiff competition from across the conference. But before we get into the details, be sure to give D3 TV a follow on all our social media platforms. If you enjoy the video, give us a like and a comment below.
The men's golf team competed in 2 matches last week, finishing 9th at the Butler Invitational, followed by a 6th-place finish at the Illinois Wesleyan Invitational. Senior Jacob Kelber would lead the Tigers in both tournaments, finishing 19th at the Butler Invitational and 25th at Illinois Wesleyan.
Both men's and women's tennis faced off against Indiana Wesleyan last week in doubleheaders. However, the Wildcats would remain victorious as both the men's and women's teams were not able to secure a win. The women's tennis team competed in another doubleheader later in the week and were able to sweep the battling Bishops of Owu. The men's tennis team now sits at 1-5, while the women's team moves to 3-7 with a 2-0 record in conference.
Men's lacrosse opened up NCAC play last week against Wabash and proved dominant as they were able to sweep the Little Giants with the scores of 26-6 and 28-7. Senior Will Roberts set the single-game record of 8 goals in the first game, while DePauw would also tie the single-game scoring record with 28 goals in the second. DePauw now sits at 3-3 with a 2-0 record in NCAC play.
Men's soccer split their matches last week with a loss at Indy 11 0-6, followed by a win over Denison 1-0. Women's soccer traveled to Indianapolis on Wednesday for an exhibition game against Marion, although they would fall to the Knights by a score of 6-1.
The DePauw softball team would suffer their second loss of the season last week at the hands of Mount St. Joseph with a score of 8-2. The second game with Mount St. Joseph was postponed at the top of the 4th. The Tigers would bounce back later in the week as they secured a solid 7-1 win over Rose-Hulman at home after holding the Fighting Engineers to just 1 run off of 4 hits. The 7th-ranked Tigers now sit at 17-2 overall, and look to build on the record again this Saturday on the road to Wash U.
The baseball team competed in 2 doubleheaders against Wabash last week and went 1-3 overall versus the Little Giants. DePauw split their doubleheader with Wabash on Friday, but dropped both their games in Crawfordsville Saturday. The Tigers dropped to 8-10 overall and 1-3 in conference play. However, they look to improve next week as they travel to Wittenberg April 14th for another NCAC matchup.
Finally, the DePauw volleyball team competed in their first home match of the spring 2021 season, but came up short as they fell to Illinois College with a score of 3-2. DePauw is back at home this week and will face off against the Panthers of Greenville University.
And that will wrap it up for this episode of Tiger Sports Nation. Thank you so much to everybody for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, share, or comment below. I'm Joey Webster.
And I'm Jude Hunter. And as always,
Roll Tigs.